We are here to do a twin flame update. Now, I'm hoping the computer's going to work. I've had to start it and restart it. Crown Chakra's been mucking with it. Told you. Crazy town. You'd think we were living in a Mercury retrograde permanently with the modes being in Gemini. Now, I pulled some cards. We're going to do an energy check-in. Now, yes, I will say the energy is pretty darn on it heavy. So I thought I'd come live and we will get a check-in to this energy because it's yuck. I tell you, it's yuck. It's melancholia, it's exhaustion, it's purgy. Yeah, it's not nice. And I'm in union, so I can only imagine what you guys are feeling. Yeah, that's about right. Let go and go with the flow. Look, the moon being in Gemini, a lot of you will have throat chakra and the higher heart chakra activated. So the way you're feeling, morning, sweet. It's not morning for me, it's evening. I pulled some cards. I'll wait for people to jump in and then we'll get into the read. Now, I'm just getting into the zone. I'll have a chat to you guys for a bit. Some of the channeled messages I was getting during the last 3 days had heavy ascension symptoms. I've been a little bit under the weather. So no, I haven't gone anywhere. I'm probably going through what a lot of you guys are going through. There's been a shift. Evening, sweet. How are you? Okay, now there's been a shift, and with a few people and clients, obviously, because when I'm recording, I am pretty, under the pump sort of thing. And so when I'm doing the channelings with those energies, I'm otherwise MIA. So I'm trying to get them pre-recorded ahead of time. So moving into 2021, I can be more present. Okay, now the eclipse energy with this Gemini, the Gemini moon. Purgatory, yes, moving into December it will be. Plus, the reality is with a lunar eclipse, it will be something at a 3D level that is happening in the collective. Whereas when we do move to the solar eclipse in Sagittarius, that's when it's going to happen directly to you, theoretically. So, and I've mentioned that in the videos, what placement it is. You can stream forward, you can stream back, you can go to your romance or your finances or your career or your home. So, that is a real good look. So it is very purgy. Look, Gemini is throat chakra. The eclipse is in Gemini, but there are other aspects being made on the day, which I mentioned in the video. So if you guys haven't looked at it, do have a look at it. And it will slightly discuss some of those things. I do go into more detail in the other videos coming up for you. So hopefully all of them should be done. I've got 4 more left to go. Now, with the emotions, especially with masculine at the moment, a lot of you guys may have heard me a few times talking about the fact that in astrology, their energy links to both Mars and Jupiter. Now, although a lot of you at a purgatory rate are going, where is this person? What's going on? Alignment's everything. Plus ascension, as much as I would like to say it isn't everything, it is, because we've got to make it through that ascension process. So, inner child wounds and things to that degree have been coming up, especially for feminine. Abandonment-related energy, old wounds from the past, slight emotions potentially that, you might be looking at it going, is this ever going to go away? Are we ever going to get there? And there's no perfect. It's going to come and it's going to go and it's going to plateau out, so you will get to a point you can look at it. But there is this, to a degree where we're in the masquerade. We're like, okay. And it could be an egoic perspective. It's a bit like, okay, masculines are doing X, Y, and Z. And we're like, done on it. We're in a good place, which is true. We are. But yet again, emotionally, vibrationally, it's not quite matching how we're feeling at a vibe level. So, authenticity is everything, right? So if we call a spade, we call a spade a spade. But we need to look at ourselves at the moment. And uniquely, masculines are in pretty much the same energy. They're in bondage, okay? But so are we, because it's the yin and yang. Now, the bondage energy at the moment is coming out due to the fact that we both have Aries and Chiron. Masculines and feminines have Aries and Chiron retrograde till the 15th. At the moment, for me in Australia, Neptune is stationary and it moves so slow going forward. So the distortion in the crown chakra, you're going, oh my gosh, is everything going to be sweet? Yes, it will be. But it's moving into a very purgatory experience. Now, we're having the moon also transit. I think it's in about 3 days. It's going to transit through Cancer. Now, do bear in mind that we have Saturn, Jupiter, Pluto, all in Capricorn, and they're heavy, heavy energies. Now, for masculines, they have been learning a lot of accountability. As the planets transit, it is linking to them. Theoretically, if it was their zodiac, Mars, and because Aries and Chiron is in Aries, and we also had Jupiter retrograde, Jupiter will also be transiting. So they've had a lot of aspects happening in their astrology. And I hope you're following me because I'm a bit dazed and confused at the moment with all their frequency coming through. A lot of base chakra, a lot of, our foundational related issues are coming up collectively. So nervous, agitation, you can be getting, what would the word be? Emotions coming up and then they're going down. So it's coming up and down. So what I'm trying to say is because we have Aries and Chiron retrograde, a lot of you are sort of looking at your clock going, done or not, where is it? The thing is, as it moves direct, they will feel a bit better, right? But we also need to understand through the Phoenix rising and the ascension process, effectively we do burn the ego off, and it comes in stages. It's a bit like your Kundalini rising and your ascension symptoms. It's not magically you've got there. I mean, if we did, you'd be at the other side, if you know what I mean. Oh, we have some interesting energies in the house. If only some people could see. Anywho, so as we have, I do believe, I've got the dates here. Now, on the 17th, we have Saturn moving from Capricorn into Aquarius. Then on the 19th of December, we have Jupiter moving from Capricorn into Aquarius. So for masculines, that's going to be another additional transformation. So the reason why I'm mentioning this is because it's going from learning that aspect of accountability, responsibility, burdens, oh, heck, why'd I go and do that for? Very Capricorn. It's like really biting off more than you can chew, getting into circumstances, and then getting to a point that you're quite stuck. Bear with me, guys. Anywho, yes. I'll have to add a moderator. There you go. We've got another newbie. Because we've got, one flew over the cuckoo's nest with the eclipse. It is a full moon. It's quite natural. You do know that, don't you? So let's get into the energy. Now, in the heart space, I'll read the crowning energy at the moment. The bondage energy, I would say, is due to the fact that collective energy, I've just blocked them. It's okay. They did come up and blocked and then it came back again. So the bondage energy, it's a bit like, the card where we're stuck. It's like feeling stuck. Now, psychologically, yes, initially anything that's hurting us is a purgatory stage. You go through the egoic stage. Oh, welcome back, Eddie. So with this, the masculines are experiencing things that are quite emotional. They're, again, things potentially linking to inner child wounds, and that has been something that's really been coming up in the last 48 hours. It can be abandonment-related issues, fear-based frequency conditioning, the way they're looking at their childhood, and especially with the Capricorn energy, it's what they've learned. What is it my role in society to be? How do I need to come? Do I need to be perfect? And the funny thing is feminines really do go through this where, a lot of this conditioning, when we go through our egoic purge, we're directly projecting that of what we have experienced pressed towards us. So it's quite funny because if we do step back and we get very cross with them and you do look at it, 9 times out of 10, it is how you felt when your parents projected that energy towards you. So monkey see, monkey do. You get my gist? And it's not that. It's conditioning. It's value systems that we've been ingrained with. And then we come to the table and we're projecting it to that other person due to abandonment, fear-based frequencies, feeling that we need to effectively make everything perfect. So with this, they've gone through these stages also. And where they're sitting inside it, it's not a very comfortable energy. We do, towards the end of December, have a full moon in Cancer, and I do believe it's 0 degrees, which is very similar to the Fool card, where you're basically moving into 2021, a little bit like a deer creeping out of the woods, looking through, going, "What are we in for?" That sort of is where masculines are at, but they know they're not stuck. They know where the links are. They also know that felt initially as entrapment. Hi, sweet. And so, the tone of family has been coming through in messages, both psychically, spiritually, and little synchronistic messages. Obviously, because we did have the nodes prior to May in Cancer and Capricorn, we're actually between now and next month ending the nodes, the nodal effect. So the moon transit in Cancer, I believe it's on, what date is it? I've printed it. Let me get my chart. Okay, I'll have a look. We have moving into December on the first day, and I just want to say on the first day of Christmas, don't know why. Anywho, okay, so we have Mercury entering Sagittarius, but we have the moon still with the resonance of Gemini. Then on the 2nd and the 3rd and the 4th, we have moon energy in Cancer. Now, pay attention to how you're feeling on those days, because anywhere you had those Cancer placements, I do believe a lot of those karmic cycles linking to where the nodes were in Cancer and Capricorn are going to be playing out. Now, today, for wherever you guys are in the world, from the 30th, you will find that there can be sudden changes, right? And the 4th, yes. So make sure you keep an eye on those days from an emotional point of view, because as collective energy is, it relates to home, families, tribe. Those dynamics coming up. Then towards the end of the month, we have the moon in Cancer. So it's transiting, and then it stages its grand stage in Cancer at the end of the month. So it's a pretty action-packed month next month. So the videos I've done for you guys astrologically are quite in depth. So the bondage energy is due to the fact they're purging the paradigms of what connections are. Anything tribe-based is feeling more as a cage. They feel this urge to call for it. They feel that it, how do I put it? Pick the energy. Have a look. Entrapment, caged. Fixated. Now it feels like a cage over a tribe, if you get my gist. They're seeing the polarities between the both, and they're actually breaking out of that. They're breaking that cycle and they're shedding that skin, which effectively is similar to purging the ego, and as well as the Phoenix Rising. With the Scorpionic energy last month, it was connected to the Phoenix Rising. And now the funny thing is, in their heart, I asked what do they have, and they have the flame. So they have divine feminine in their heart. There's also that flame for passion. And I do feel that as we move into December and we have Aries and Chiron going direct, that's where their energy will start moving forward. Hi, guys. Now, the foundation. What is the foundation of where they stand? It's emotions, and emotions relating to, whenever we see the moon in Cancer, yes, we can relate to emotion. Whenever we see a moon in any transit, it relates to emotions. So the moon cycles are directly impacting them. Yeah, I feel ya. The crazy thing is, when you do have everything stripped away, it can feel very depleting, to say the least. We can then fall into, yes, as you mentioned, dark night of the soul. But, sometimes it's the slightest things that you realize in the dark night of the soul, that it's not just the asset orientated things. It's the feeling that you realize that you're very disconnected from everything that doesn't feel authentic. And a lot of times with the masquerade with feminines at the moment, is that this poker face energy we've tried to achieve to protect ourselves. So overall, with that protection, the crazy thing is we can't break what's broken. So the reality is accepting that, okay, instead of trying to pretend because we're trying to stay strong, it's admitting that where those breaks were and sitting with them and being nurturing. And even I still have those things. I mean, even today, things for me spiritually come up, and I had to sit there and I was very honest with my twin. I was like, look, honestly, X, Y, and Z, this is really my job to look at. It is what it is, but this is where I am. And, it's hard to be accountable, and it's really hard to practice self-love, because we really do have this micromanaging system where we need to have our life together. And it's really not, being flexible in every day to accept the fact that you're going to have good and bad days. But there's these emotions coming up at the moment for feminines that, they're wearing their heart close to their sleeve, but at the same time, there's this sense where we're not wanting to be too vulnerable. Now, because we have Venus and Scorpio, we're knowing that we need to let some things go. Scorpio wants that intimacy, but it also wants to be protected and assured. It's almost like this very superstitious energy. So there's this push-pull dynamic between the masculines and the feminines too. We've got that vulnerability, but it's actually, taking that mask off and taking that leap of faith. So both of you are really, really mirroring each other. And you always do all the way through the journey. It's a complete fallacy that it's not occurring. One occurs on the inside. So for instance, when we're running, the person internally is running directly to another person. That person then is running externally. The other person, due to disbelief, inadequacies, runs towards. So again, it's the synchronistic similar energy. It's just being mirrored in a different fashion. Now, heart-based energy for feminines. Now, you guys, the funny thing is all your cards are looking away. It's almost like, again, protective energy. No, I'm not safe over here. I can't interact with you. I can't discuss. I feel very vulnerable. I'm tapping into my creativity. This, again, is inner child wounds as well. And the reason co-creativity is coming up, and creativity with the solar plexus and sacral chakra, is due to the fact that there's fear-based frequency. There's trauma that hasn't been dealt with. There's also inner child wounds that can potentially be coming up. So we pour our energy into something which is still healthy, but it's come up due to the fact, heart chakra's come up here too. It's due to the fact that, the inner child wounds haven't been dealt with, the abandonment, the emotions, the safety, the vulnerability. Becoming very open is very, what would the word be? It's a bit too raw. It's a bit too vulnerable at the moment where both are standing. There can be bitterness as well. And I'm really not feeling bitterness. If anything, I'm feeling that the wounds might have linked from bitterness of abandonment, especially during, the situation that's played out in the collective. So it's almost like turning the shoulder, but really, really knowing that that's impossible. But trying to do everything you can to physically focus on something else, trying to see the golden line and, the co-creative energy. Now, yes, for feminines on the external, the situations are connecting to your heart chakra. I'll do a reading at the end, sweet. Just save that one, and I'll do them all at the end because I'm channeling the messages at the moment, but I will get it for you. So with your heart chakra, it's almost like trying to make peace. And again, The reason why we have the purge of the ego is so you can move into detachment to be open to receive. But when we're feeling like we're in danger or we need to protect ourselves, we need to micromanage that journey, it really does get to a point you are intuitively trying to comprehend to protect yourself. You don't need to do that. You need to heal. You need to detach. Your cognitive energy will be there to decide whether you want to let anybody in. And again, once you've healed, you can connect with anybody you want. So a lot of what I teach you guys is through processes I've been through myself so that you can get to a space you're open. You know, the ones that have been here a long time know that our favourite pet hate word is divine timing. And that's because when you've been on the journey a long time, it feels a little bit insulting. It's like divine timing. Yeah, okay. I could have baked 20 cakes by now. But you have to laugh about it. You've got to have some laughter in it. If you don't, we'll be saying, the God's crazy. What are we doing? So the heart chakra is coming up, but the swirls of emotions are coming through. Yeah, divine timing, patience. It's like it's all it is really, and it sounds crazy and daft, is the purge of the ego. I'm telling you point blank, zero. When we are tuning into it, and I've tested this, I've been on the journey well over 25 years. Anytime I have psychologically, spiritually come to terms with it, they've shown up on my door. And but because you have the tag now, that makes it harder. Once you have the awakening to what the term is, you've also got to purge that. But does that mean I'm haunted? Does that mean it's coming back? What do I do with that? Well, if it is, then where is it? Because again, it's egoic, it's attachment energy. You got to detach from it. And the more you relax into it, and you just really flow and you go in communication, and then you go back out of alignment again, and you got to let go. Yeah, I think 40,000 cakes more like it, right? How many lifetimes have we been back? What are we doing, eh? So the passion on the internal is there. Now, the one thing that is coming up for masculines, it's funny because when I look at cards, I'm always shown who it's relating to. Now, they are thinking about all the seeds they're sowing when it comes to thoughts. And I talked about manifestation the other day, and they're doing it from a very humanistic experience. When I say a humanistic experience, the longer you are on the twin flame path, you actually are very, very careful about what you think, because your thoughts can transmute so quickly that psychologically you just don't do it. So when we say, as much as I adore Abraham Hicks, from my personal experience, what I found is that of what you are worthy of receiving, it will always come towards you. And sometimes our ego can manifest what we feel we need, but it can be 20 times worse than had you just received, if you get my gist. So you tend to be more relaxed, and it's like a attachment. The laws of attraction bring it to you. So you're not reliving your past and karmic cycles. You're not re-embodying them to bring them back to you. Okay? So now they're looking at things, and from a 3D point of view, they're planting seeds. So they're tuning in. They know this up here is not for them. They're like, no, I don't like this. This feels trapped. Some of them need to be a little bit free at the minute, and that could be anything to fresh air, being away from people, being away from white noise. And I always say, when we're in a really compromising situation or a confronting situation, we literally need to put ourselves, whoever we be, in the naughty corner and go, okay, this is complicated. Let me step back from this. And that is very much hermit mode. But hermit mode can't be done with other energies. Sometimes when you're in a karmic relationship or in a relationship, yes, you're in that, but you need to be present in that. So therefore, if you guys don't receive communication, if anything, it is directly, it's crazy. It sounds crazy, but it's showing you integrity, because they're not interacting with you, and you wouldn't want that, because then you'd be second guessing the scenario. If you guys reunite, is that going to happen to you? You get my gist. And it's not that it never happens, okay? Twin flame path is a very complicated path. It's a viewpoint. As you ascend further, you tend to make very conscious decisions to prevent extra karma moving forward, because you get a lot. Now, their seeds they're planting, it's funny because many things that they're thinking about is to do with, again, it feels more where they planted seeds, there's regret. They're thinking about these things. And it's funny because they're tapping into the emotion, and it's like they're seeing something from your point of view, but they're seeing it from their emotional point of view, in the feminine attributes of their emotion. So the heart chakra is also coming through for masculines. Now, there is a nest on the head, which is unique because this tree's up here and it's dead, it's broken, it's ripping to pieces, but it's trying to cage it. That can be the old paradigm. Now, the external energy that's implicating, affecting, and transforming them is, again, them, their emotions, their spiritual connections to situations, and the seeds they previously planted. And it does feel quite naked and vulnerable. I do feel when it does come to karmic energies, there's regret. There's also a cricket on the card. Very psychic in nature, wishing to change direction. I also feel for many of them, they're feeling as though, especially looking at the cards here for feminines, the feminine's looking away. It's like, I don't want to look at that. And it can be due to some behaviors that have come through, or it may be due to communication or the time frame, but it's this turning of the shoulder that the feminine has. You know, it's like, look, be it you, be it me, call a pot a pot, but I don't like what I'm seeing, okay? Now, I don't feel it has to be aggressive in nature. If anything, it's just slightly disappointed. And then you might be looking at yourself and going, should I be disappointed? You know, I've been through these things myself. You know, and the psychoanalytical energy comes in then. And that's the problem. That's where we've got to step away from that and not do that. When something comes up and it triggers you, you really do need to snap out of it very quickly. And there's also somebody in the room, in the house rather, that has a very tall person that has passed away and they're visiting me. That's a very weird situation. Anywho, we're going to keep going. So if there's somebody most recently that has a very tall man, I'm seeing a tall man. He keeps popping in. Who's in the house? Anywho. Okay, their foundation is emotion. The emotions, it's really weird actually. It does, if I'm saying like a person that is easy, very tall. I'm talking really tall. Red and green, but it almost looks samurai-like, but it's more, looks like Apache clothing. It might be a guide. I don't know whose it is, but it's here. Anywho. Yes. Hi. How are you doing, guys? Did he used to have a coloured shirt that was very colourful? It looks embroidered. It's red and green, and it's, yeah. Because I just went like that. Anyhow, we'll get back to that. Now, masculines know that the emotions are there, right? Now, it's also with the self-worth value, you know, but they don't want you to question yourself. It's not about you. Yeah, it can be about 6 to 7 foot, but this person looks like they feel very spiritual in nature, very tall, beads. I don't know why they're making reference to beads, but they're very tall. So the emotions, they feel the emotions coming through. They know that you're concerned. They can feel your energy as well. They know that you're not sleeping properly. It's keeping them up at night as well. You're potentially trying to focus on the blessings, right? Trying to focus on the blessings. You want peace. Everything you're doing at the moment is you're attempting to move back into alignment and you're attempting to gain peace, right? You're trying to stay sane. Some of you are also thinking about Christmas and you're trying to keep your mind off it. Some of you, you're trying not to get your hopes up. It may be. Did they have long hair? This person's very spiritual, very old soul. It's quite funky because this person here, it does sort of look like that. That's how they look. Similar. Anyhow, interesting. I feel like as Mars goes direct, you will have communication from this person. I also feel like you guys turn around and you're looking, but you're questioning, right? You're questioning. You're like, what's your intentions, right? You're going to look at it. It is looking towards them on this occasion. So whereby you were looking in the opposite direction prior, you're looking directly at them on this occasion. I've got a broken nail. I was helping my mother. Now, they're coming through and you're thinking, okay, all glory. What's this about? I'm going to pull a clarifier on that. What intentions does this Mr. Masculine have? Okay. Feminines, apparently we need to be gracious and accept it. And even the small blessings are blessings. They're coming to say thank you. They're coming to give you something. They're wanting to visit you. They're wanting you to know that they appreciate you, but they haven't. They know that you're blocking them, okay? It's like, but this is the mirror. Get over yourself, right? It's like there are some things that you're not letting go of, and it's like this peace offering. And it might be they're trying to get you something or talk to you or try and woo you, and it's like you're stomping it down. Oh, we're funny creatures, aren't we, as humans? It's like, I love you, I miss you, and then you come back, beautiful, lovely. And then it's like, what do you want? What are you up to? I don't know. Okay. Oh, crap. I do believe there's been some communication directly connected to the karmic. This is a second image here. Now, there's a separate energy between the two individuals. I am seeing a karmic energy sitting here looking at paperwork. Now, this can be them wanting to write something, but they don't know what to say. I feel more it's them knowing there is no way of communication due to hermit mode energy. There's guilt connecting to, they're reflecting on what was said, but I do feel there's been some sense of communication directly to the karmic. They do look quite sad, but it's like it's almost very resolved that it is where it is. I feel they know. I feel they've tried and that it's been in vain. May have even been linking to family, wounds, emotions, being playful, but nothing they've done really. And again, this relates to a 5. It might have even been babies, but nothing really that was done had changed that. I think in general, we all have cycles in life. So initially, we do go through the 7 stages of healing. At first, we can move, at any point, it never goes in a systematic order. The karmics may be feeling as though, initially in the initial stages, it was like you did this to them or the masculine did this to them, but it's all of us. It's a bit like a roller coaster, really. I think we all have turns at crappy relationships. We really do. And, some of us never want to have that again and we block ourselves off. which is a crying shame because we all deserve love. And if we can heal, we can be more open and empathic towards each other. And others of us can, go into victim consciousness, perpetrator. This always happens to me. Don't be saying that. You're going to keep attracting it. So there's this look on her face of acceptance, resolve and acceptance. Yeah. Okay, you're being asked to listen to your heart, not your ego, not your fear-based frequency. It's hard because sometimes the heart's broken. But if you've been crying for months, you're kind of fibbing to yourself and you've got a mask on if you're not willing to try. Okay? There's no safety, Rapunzel. It's vulnerability is love. Stupidity is stupidity. That's different, right? You can go into it and you can still love a person. I was even thinking that linking, so much over the next 2.5 years we're going to learn connected to astrology plus twin flames. We always learn it the hard way, unfortunately. And it's collective energy. That even something as ironic as disputes linking to, and sometimes you've got to get, address the elephant in the room. It's like two people differing on viewpoints relating to belief systems, and it can even be like presidents. And it's, can you still care for that other person even if they have a different value system? And it's 100% you can. It's just cooling down enough, away from the ego that you go, wow, that's really interesting that you say that. And stepping back in a more holistic manner. And that was really a large thing that has been coming up in the last 48 hours. Is everything as we see it? Is everything as it seems? So, stepping back and really observing. Now, collectively between you, you have, it's not an emergency, right? Which means it is. It's getting to a pivotal point, let go or flow, but you're not letting go. There's this push-pull energy between the both of you. What's the advice for the twins, please? Number one, do some heart chakra clearing. I would suggest that. You're probably even towards the end of the year, you're going to be quite purgy then too, because we've got the full moon in Cancer. Questioning your beliefs. Yes, there you go. I told you. With the ego, when we're purging it, we're trying to understand it. You've got to let go of it. Not everything has to make sense, right? And it's different when you're doing it from a perspective of, I'm playing chess in this twin flame journey, right? If I only understand why it happened, I can avoid it and it will never happen again. False, right? False. Question your beliefs. Let it go. It was never your job in the first place. Now, how do I explain that? That was one thing I learned through my path. I took a role on that I thought was mine. And that was that my intuition and my psychic energy was so strong. And then when I realized I had actually taken accountability for another person's actions and I was beating myself up for it because I did not know. Number one, it was not for me to know what other people are doing. Number one, why? Is because your self-importance, and I'm not talking from an egoic perspective, I'm talking about alignment is you focusing on your side of the fence and you coming correct. If another person does something that is out of alignment, that's out of your control. We're not their parents. It's egoic to be micromanaging. We can get upset. That is perfectly normal. But when you're going through that purgatory stage, you've got to keep coming back to that moment and saying, okay, I'm not angry at my intuition. I have a very good relationship with my intuition. My intuition serves me where I need it, but my intuition had nothing to do with the rise and fall or demise of the connection of where it stood. That part you have to divorce. You have to let go of that because it's not real. And by facing that frequency, you've got to get back to why, because what you do is you go in circles. You just don't want to keep going in circles. You've got to let it go. It's a heavy cross to bear that way. Love yourself. You're beautiful. You're divine. You're everything that any person could want. In all your glory. All of you. Every curve, every bump, every wrinkle. Perfect. You know, so many times we look at the factor and, you know, there can be betrayals and connections. There can be things that happen. And it's the most disgusting journey, honestly. And then you look at it and you go, okay, you know, if we took the left, would this have been? If I took this, would this have been? Yeah. Get balanced. Get back into your rhythm. That could be a time. When you are in balance, feminines, and you move into that self-love energy, anything and everything can come towards you and you will flow. When I say you'll flow, you may hear gossip. It will not affect you. You may have a situation play out. You will step back. This person is up in my grill. Who's in the house? I'm going to know who this is. So this flow energy, I think it's by the time we reach the moon transiting Libra. Let me have a look. Which is going to be on the 9th and the 10th. And that's of December. Okay. Keep an eye on that day. Dates. I think you're going to get more into balance. We do have squaring aspects next month, which can be tough, and conjunction points. So I do believe it's going to be quite fast-paced. Okay. If anything, you know, we need to lead by example and inspire. So what do I mean by that? Does it mean you have to be perfect? No, I do not mean that. I mean to the point you're absolutely ignoring the situation. Oh. Yes, well, the weather during eclipses, I'm telling you, always is pretty hectic. I'm telling you, open your hearts, feminines. Love's coming. It's going to get you. It's going to get you. And masculines, it's almost like you're inspiring them. You're inspiring them to get to a point where they can move forward. It's almost triggering them. I feel many of them are thinking you're hot and cold, when really in your psychology, you're looking at it and you're thinking you're hot and cold. I'm picturing Julia Roberts with her sneakers running out of a wedding chapel. Oh, jeez. Joy of comedy. Don't know what that movie was called, but it was funny anyway. We do become hot and cold because we're trying to. What would the best way to describe it be? We're flowing in it. The trigger comes back up, the inner child won't, and then we're flowing back out. We're triggered. We might be dictating, feeling, you know, healthy boundary. And I'm telling you from experience, healthy boundary is not with your masculine. It never is. You have absolutely no control over another person. It's even up there in psychology. So, you know, when you say, I had a healthy boundary, you had a conversation with your person, maybe even a negotiation, but was it one-sided? Was it a two-way street? So really, the triggering and motivation of it is standing your ground with yourself. And how do you do that? It's okay, this is where I feel my benchmark is, at least here, or halfway. Meet me halfway. I love that song too. So meet me halfway. That's all I ask. You don't have to be rich. You don't have to be perfect, but meet me halfway and then we can talk. And if you then see the movement, sweet, okay, we're on. We can press the play button. No, okay, I'm not taking it personal. I'm pretty busy right about now. But you're really, and that's the healthy boundary with yourself. Remembering, because your ego is telling you to go back to the old pattern. The old pattern is making the same cake. It's not going to work. So the negotiation is, okay, So you might have a phone call, and this can be masculines with feminines as well. So it doesn't have to be one-sided here. Honestly, it's human being interaction. So it's feeling that you have to give more than you actually do. Feeling obliged to be reacting a certain way or having the same belief systems. No, you actually don't. You are from both sides of the same and a separate fence at the same time. It's quite a unique connection. So overall, if they're coming towards you, whoever it be, and you've done your clearing work, you're as good as you can be, and they're taking you back down that dark alley of that same scenario ship, you at that point do have accountability inside yourself to say, as much as I'm deeply attracted and love, and you have to say this to yourself. I know what the outcome of this is going to be. I'm just going to step back, and don't get triggered to the point you think it's not going to change. Because as you say, that's not quite for me, and you're standing in truth, you're not angry, you're not over emotional, you're in your queen energy, you're in your king energy. What happens then is you gain respect. People look at you like, wow, you have self-worth. And because you're not just doing anything like a karmic, begging, groveling, and look, no shade. I've had some very interesting karmics around me in my life. I'm sure there's very good ones. I haven't met them. But again, we're human and we all drop into particular frequencies at some point. So I'm sure I have by no means been perfect in my life. But unfortunately, my lessons, when I learn them, I choose not to go back and do the same stuff because there's generally another lesson waiting for me. So I don't have time to go back and repeat that cycle. So, all of us do things differently. Relating to them in that fashion, it's when you're chasing them, they don't need to come towards you. You're in the runner mode. If you want to turn that around, you need to be sitting in the receivership mode to receive, but you're not going to because your fear-based frequency is saying, if I don't call them, they're going to forget me. No. If you were all you feel you were in your heart, separately from the ego telling you this and that happened, go away from that story. That's the manipulation that's taking you back to the pattern. Drop the pattern. The pattern had nothing to do with it. You don't want to keep repeating patterns. You're going to get the same cake. You're going to get the same scenario, the fights, the blues, the ins and outs. You don't want that. You're breaking that cycle, and you have to. You really do, so that you can have a more grounded connection and you can trust the process. And it's about your growth too. You can't have a great relationship if you can't get to the point you can really self-navigate yourself and go, okay, and you'll synchronistically see then with your twin, if you're doing that, where does the pattern lie elsewhere? That's why the separation comes into play. You actually see a synchronistic pattern with other people around you in a scenario ship situation. That's why the astrology is important, that you look at those charts and you see the themes that are coming up. It's your inner work. It's to get you into alignment and focus on your path. Overall, unconditional love between the both of you. But you've got to love each other for the good, the bad, the ugly. It's basically like a marriage without the marriage. I'm not saying you won't have the marriage, but what is a marriage? It is till death do we part. It's for the good, the bad, the ugly. It's probably a twin flame path effectively is probably the most modern version of an authentic connection, because you are taking them till death do you part. Theoretically, the way these twin flame journeys are going is that you do love the person, and you will get to a space that if they're going to be with someone, it's a different love. It's just you're loving from a distance and you're saying, as long as you're healthy and happy, I'm happy for you. You will get to that. All of you will. Sounds crazy, and that's probably more than likely where you end up attracting them, but it's more the purge of the ego. Okay, haven't finished yet, SK. I've got one lady ahead of you. 5 more. I'll get 5 more cards and then we'll get into it. Hold that thought. I've got one more up above. Okay. Last messages for the twins, please. I haven't done one in such a while. And I've got to do all the videos again tomorrow. I've got 3 or 4 left. And then I've got clients' videos. Yeah, fill your soul, guys. At the moment, the investment in your soul, and that came up for me this morning too. I was tuning into it and I was like, where's my meditation at? I need some meditation. Really connecting in. I'd really strongly advise that you clear your houses, smudge stick your houses, especially moving into the second eclipse, because we've got eclipses back to back, right? Clear your house, Heidel, get to a point that you're getting grounded, have some fun, shake it up a little bit. At the moment, you're not going to feel like it, even if it's looking at some comedy on YouTube, you know. Comedy is great to lift your vibe. If you've been in a real purgy stage, go and do some guided meditation. Get to a grounded place. Tune out of the worst case scenario with your twin for 24 hours. And then do something playful the next day. Then you're going to start, I do feel a lot of you are going to open the light to this. And then you'll have the answers if you can step away from it as a problem, and you'll find solutions, which are fives, right? But the investing in your spirit, this is what both of you are having that awakening to, is the masculines of where they feel they don't resonate with that. And you could be looking at a lot of things. You still have the love here and the love is coming. The cards were coming up as such. But both of you are looking at what doesn't resonate with you at the moment to get to a point that you can break that cycle. Now, let's look at the two people that donated for a reading. Okay, for the first lady, Constantine, Libra male. She's a Sag. Oh, the joys. Why do I feel at the moment there is a distance in location? I'm seeing a distance in proximity. Right, location-wise, is there a distance at the moment between the both of you? Are they in a different continent, country? I just feel a distance. You're just being quiet. Are you listening? Are you, Louise? How you doing, lady? You're like, oh. Well, I was touching base with the first beautiful in the house, but I don't know if she's in the house any longer. In relation to your person that you inquired about, it'll pass. It'll pass, Sally. So I'm getting into quick bees for those of you in the house that want to donate for a reading. It'll be a quick one though. Oh, it'll be fine. Just do the healthy boundary yourself. Try not to take it personal. So for the person that donated the $5, my name is Constantine. I am a Libra male. She is a Sagittarius. I'm feeling a distance in location. And with the distance in their location, there's something coming up about that. There's a completion of something that they're doing, but I do feel that they're at a distance. I do feel you will get communication, but I feel there's some sense of complications. Yeah, there's an emotional entanglement at the moment. That's what I'm saying. I'm going to have to gauge what these ones are. Thanks, sweet. Where are we at? SK. Let me think on that. Will they decide about the message? They've read it several times. That's what I can see. They have read it several times. They have been incredibly stubborn. I do feel there is a date or a situation that's coming up. This could be a person's birthday. I'm hearing the term an excuse to contact, and I hope that lands. Whatever that excuse to contact is, it feels like that they're really trying to fight it. Yeah, resolution. There you go. They're really trying to fight it, but they're trying to find an excuse in order to contact. But I feel it will first be text message. I don't feel it will be just picking the phone up and talking. They're very stubborn. Very masculine, right? And it's old soul energy, but it's very stubborn. Okay, who is the other one? Pardon my throat chakra. Isidore, I absolutely love your name. A card for your DM at the moment. Let's see. Now, all of you, remember, as Jupiter transits, you'll probably see a huge shift in your masculine, because it's going from heavy Capricorn to Aquarius of liberation for your DM at the moment. Okay, there's some financial related dynamics going on at the moment. They also feel a little bit haunted by you. See, a little bit ghosty. They're feeling a bit haunted. There's inadequacies relating to what they can give and where they're at. And it's funny, I do see prosperity coming towards you at the moment. So there could be this kind of swap of fortune energetically. It's quite bizarre. Yeah, it's just kind of coming to you. Okay, hit me up. I kind of feel you should just, yeah, I don't know. Oh, let's think about this one for AA. Oh, look, they're not SK, they're not angry or anything to that degree. There's circumstances that they're being stubborn about due to what's going on in their life. It's not to do with you. They're in general pretty stubborn, right? They're stubborn. Okay, Antonella, what do you need to know about that situation? I do feel the person knows, the one with the crystal balls on the desk, I do feel they know. But they're mucking with you at the moment. They're teasing you. Pay attention to the way they're doing things. I am seeing a lunch. Now, I'm seeing quite a lot of light coming in onto the desk where this person sits. Where they're sitting, I can see a window. There's a window, and it's quite a large window, but the light is coming in at the angle of their desk. I see somebody standing next to them, you receiving paperwork or something to that degree, and I do feel out of left field there feels like that person ends up coming to lunch. Oh, thanks, sweet. I've been MIA with my hidden paperwork. I haven't really gone on any of the apps. For your DM. Let's see. Ooh. Okay, your DM is having a bit of disputes. Are they with the karmic? Because there's a karmic energy here. And it's not, it's not that it's romantic. It just feels there's a karmic feminine energy here that they could be having a dispute with. Yeah. This is a nasty energy coming through. It's, yes, a bit peevy. So, AA, does your person, the table I'm mentioning, do they have light coming towards their desk? Yeah, there you go. To clarify for Maria Marshall, right? It's not a love related. It's an X. It feels like an X, but there's a bit of BS there. There's a bit of agitation, fights, disputes, could even be legality. Like whatever this is, this person's not happy and they're peeved about something. Not right next to, but correct. There you go. Now, I do see the person that you are inquiring about standing next to her, so you will be quite surprised. But they've teed it up and she's very playful. Oh, thanks, sweet. Louise, I feel purgy with you at the moment, doll. At the moment, I think that energy is going to pass, but it's almost like similar to what the reading was saying. It's like, your heart at the moment. It's funny, some of these energies, we don't even know that we have them there. And when they come up, it's quite unexpected. Yeah, it's going to bring you this light energy. And I think as you heal, you're probably going to attract, I feel damn. I think it's actually cleared it for that given reason, but it's also so you can step back and something that needs to come up is going to come up. I do feel you miss the other person quite a bit. It feels like a letdown. It feels like, it feels like a letdown, but don't compromise. There you go. The thing is, potentially you were, and that's why, your guides are actually protecting you. They're like, no, just sit with this for a little bit. Don't jump. And again, it's similar to what I said, putting ourselves in the naughty corner and going, I'm not going to do that. I need to sit with how I feel and I need to assess it. But I'm going to have to love yous all and leave yous because I need to go to the powder room. Thank you for your donations. Thank you for your thumbs up. I really, I'm happy. I don't know what my daughter's doing. She's very noisy at this ungodly hour. Anywho, I love yous. I'll talk to yous later.